And we are back with more Morris Dota 2 League action. I'm Gods, joined by Mr. KBBQ. We're man down, Jack. You're going to have to step it up. You're on play-by-play duties.
Dakota went searching for the one true name here of this tournament, which I'm not sure if he'll be able to find it in time, but we'll just call it, I guess, MDL 2017 works, right? We'll just go with a different name each time.
That means they can't run another tournament in 2017 or we're going to be confused.
That's true.
Or that can't be MDL 2017. There's going to be one. So, who knows? We'll figure it out.
Well, they ran two last year. They had MDL Winter, which was an interesting tournament. It was in January, and I remember everybody kind of got sick. There was like a plague going around, and the joke was that CTY of eHome brought the plague in to infect everybody, and his team was immune. They ended up winning that tournament. It was a big deal at the time because I think a Chinese team hadn't won a LAN in like a very long time, and eHome managed to take that one.
And then Shanghai Major came, and they did fantastic, you know?
Yeah, it was like all the, as the saying goes, all the armies were beaten, you know, like, were basically exterminated very early on. No Chinese team made the upper bracket of that tournament. There was like 5 or 6 of them there. All of them went out, and then the tournament itself was also questionable in some ways.
It's also rare that Chinese teams win the big lands in China. It seems like the Western teams always come to China and, you know, leave home with gold medals and all the prize money. With the exception maybe recently of IG at DAC, that was like a, whoa, China actually won it.
Defending home state. Yeah, the imperialist overtones. I mean, EG in particular has had a ton of success in China and at MDL. I think they've, well, no, not the last two, but they won the last MDL. And then they came in second at the previous one. And I think they, well, RTZ won the first one as well, I believe. Was that with
Secret or?
No, with, well, I'm not sure if it was.
One?
I think it was with Secret, yeah.
And then, like, they won the first DAC. Alliance historically would always win tournaments when they went to China. It just felt like a recurring trend. Even you look at the recent Star Ladders there, it's Liquid who won 2 back-to-back China lands. So China does not do well at defending home soil. But see if that can change here. This MDL, there's a lot of Chinese representation. So they're going for quality. For quantity. The question is the quality there? Newbie definitely showing it in their last game. LGD's definitely been showing it as well. They are tied for first in the group, looking to clinch the top spot with a win here. We believe if they win, they're first, because they would then have the head-to-head over EG as well as OG.
Yeah, and speaking of representation, 2 of the teams that will be representing China, TI, IG, and LGD in this matchup, this brings back some memories, because back in the day, TI2, let's turn back the clock. That was less than 5 years ago, although it feels like several lifetimes ago for some reason. These two teams were absolutely dominant in the group stage. I think LGD went 15-0 or something, and IG only dropped 1 game in the group stage. And these two seemed like, you know, destined for that championship clash. That was a very different time, a very different set of players. You know, Burning was still around, not on either of these teams. Yao obviously was there too, but yeah, now fast forward 5 years later, we have a different situation coming into TI. LGD anointed as the kind of half-jokingly the Chinese people's champion, going to break that curse. And IG have been basically backpedaling their way into TI. They've really struggled since that kind of DAC era in Kiev. And so some even wondered maybe would that be enough to get them there as an invite when their LAN results afterwards were really very lackluster.
I think that's what I think IG have done that was maybe similar to like the old Ad Finum. They had that one amazing showing, and it kind of carried them to the next couple of tournaments on the back of that result. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. I think Mao's deservedly got the invite to Kiev, even though he didn't perform well there because of how well they did in Boston. Same with IG going there. But IG maybe slightly different because they actually did do well at Kiev. They did get into the top 4. But other than those 2 results at Kiev and DAC, IG have not had great results. They've struggled. The new patch has completely crippled them as a team in a lot of ways. So still a team looking to find themselves on not just this new patch, but just in Dota in general. It feels like they have been kind of fairly lost with their playstyle, their swapping of roles, how they want to play Dota. It's a team that if it wasn't for the fact TI was coming up in their direct invite, you'd maybe be thinking, hey, do IG actually need to maybe change their roster? Like if this was like October, November, I think there would be talks of IG having roster changes. Yeah,
what's hinting at that as well, you mentioned the position changes, so it was kind of rumored before the event that there was, in practice, Burning and XS would switch positions. I talked to the manager yesterday. He said, oh, well, they weren't going to try that yesterday. They weren't sure if they were going to stick with it. Today, we have seen the switch once. Burning was on the Tide and XS was on the Slark. So I think we might also see that this game. And then speaking of other things for IG, like Bobica was like a big part of that success, right? He got so much like credit and acclamation after his great 4-position play on Monkey King and Ricky during those patches. But before that time, they used to pick him Earth Spirit pretty consistently. He was known as one of the better Earth Spirit players. He even changed his name at some point to Borax in honor of Jerax, an Earth Spirit idol. And so they're going to go very quickly for that Earth Spirit right out of the gate here with the first selection. Death Prophet is also one of their more stable mid selections for OP after like the Lina nerf, which in some ways he kind of pioneered and led the charge on. They were looking for stable mid heroes from to play. It's been a little bit inconsistent, and Death Prophet has been something that's been a real go-to for them.
Yep. Welcome back, Dakota. Did you find the true meaning of MDL on your journeys away from us, or are we still at a loss?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
This is still some sort of crazy Mars mission we're on right now, but the Dota's been all right. So that's one thing I do know is Dota's good, and I back up Jack on his sentiment here. It's good. It's gonna be good to see Baboka back on these action-packed heroes. We were worried that once Monkey King got pretty much executed a lot from the meta until he finds his way back in, we were concerned where he was going to be, but you already covered all those bases. Nobody will be a Jerax Earth Spirit, though. All right.
No,
we'll see.
Not a lot.
I'm open to believers here. I wouldn't mind seeing a big game. The Dazzle pickup obviously is great physical counter to the Death Prophet coming out, and offers some good potential. Maybe even a Sven on LGD side. I remember Sven used to be one of the great counters to Death Prophet. Heavy burst, you get the armor bonus there as well. I'm curious if that's something they will consider, or if CK will be, or just Terrorblade. Forget it altogether.
It's kind of a similar idea to Sven though. It's heavy burst. When you're in Metamorphosis with 2-3 illusions, anyone you right click, Death Prophet, pretty low armor until you get that Shiva's Guard, which presumably you want to get eventually against the Terrorblade. It's going to melt to a TB. So I do like the idea with this pick.
They don't have well, there is a Fatal Bonds, but they don't have necessarily the best way of dealing with that, and obviously that kind of sieging and pushing as well. And I think Sven is
dang, this is just this is filthy. Fatal Bonds, Magnetize, and Zeus all together.
It's an offline Zeus, most likely. They can't really lean it any other way. They're going to want a physical damage core as their last pick, so unless we see offlane Death Prophet, that doesn't seem great. We'll see some kind of like Zeus Earth Spirit offlane. I feel like that's sometimes a problem, that you have to commit your Earth Spirit to the offlane, because otherwise Zeus may just get fully zoned out. But the Zeus pick is one of the best counters to the Terrorblade and his illusions.
Who's playing it though? Who's gonna play that Zeus? Burning's
like,
give me the Zeus. I'll deal with it. That's the only reason. Like, do you really want to commit your draft into an offlane Zeus just to have Zeus versus Terrorblade?
It's it's a China pub meta thing. At least it was like 6 months ago. I remember when I was in China playing pubs. Back then I was like mostly a carry player, and I became a non-carry player because of China pubs. Every game you'd go into, there'd be a Zeus +1. Like Zeus would normally be a 4, but it'd be a Zeus in the offlane with like a Legion Commander or a Sand King or a Nyx. The Zeus comes to your lane with 3, 4, 5 clarities. Arc Lightning, Arc Lightning, Arc Lightning. 2 minutes in, you're out of Tangos, you're out of Salves, and you've got 5 CS, and you're like, my lane's lost. This offlane Zeus, it's just, you can't deal with it as a carry. And meanwhile, your supports are doing the same thing to the enemy safe lane, where they're not helping you. They're like, we got to do the offlane. It's more fun up there. So I no longer play safe lane because of China pub Zeuses. They've shattered me.
I no longer play safe lane in China pubs because I realize how much better the safe lane players are than I am, so I give my team a chance to win. It's nice out there. Good try hard Dota. So the Zeus LFY I think also ran this as an offlaner. Some other teams have been doing it as well.
Bloodseeker, let's go.
A little bit easier to, like, if you do end up having to push the waves with Arc, you at least have some assurances the wave comes back. You have a way to potentially more safely contest like the pole and get some farm out of that as well. And then I think the Aghanim's Zeus upgrade, the Nimbus Cloud, the change has been probably one of the better Ags in terms of reversal, like from that one buff. Like that skill, especially with the talent synergy, just feels very strong right now. Like you basically have a global presence on the Nimbus Cloud, and that's very difficult for a lot of heroes to fight into because I believe you have to attack it 16 times to take it down. So it just presents a very difficult situation, whether it's sieging, defending, whether it's in the middle of a team fight, or even just randomly hunting someone down that you need one more bolt to finish.
Will be the Burning Zeus going to the offlane. I like the axe. It just fits the whole theme of the hero too. It feels like, okay, it's a new spell, but you're still the god of lightning. It's kind of that global presence that Zeus is already known for with his ultimate, and it's also like the lightning bolt, like kind of mixing two of his spells into one new spell. And well, we'll see that offlane Zeus and how it fares this game in Burning's hands. Not necessarily going to be an easy lane for him. XXS has picked up the slack. You mentioned he played in the last game. That was against EG, right? Was it when they lost?
Yeah, I believe so.
Pretty one-sided, I think. That was the morning crew covering that game, but we'll see if he fares any better against their Chinese compatriots, LGD Gaming.
Hey, technically, we're the morning crew because it's
they're the late
morning.
night crew. I guess we're the early morning crew. So what is it about this whole Burning offlane thing? I must have missed it. Was he just like, I feel like playing offlane now, or was it IG saying we need to change something up? Let's try this out, or how did it come to be that the great and mighty B God is no longer playing the core anymore?
Sadly, I had left China by the time this change occurred. I think they've been looking for ideas, whether it's lineups, whether it's different heroes, different players. They feel that there's a better fit maybe on certain heroes for XXS and for Burning. So XXS, obviously, he's still most likely going to play those kind of like Magnus Enigma types.
I'd hope so.
But
His Magnus is so good.
Yeah, and this is not necessarily a permanent change. At least the manager has said that they're still undecided on whether they're going to go with this. They've been running it in practice quite a bit, and they stuck with the old kind of alignment yesterday. And so they're kind of trying this out today.
Yeah, I'm being undecided and trying out new things right before the biggest tournament of the whole year. That's probably good. Sarcasm.
It's better now than during TI. I think if you see a team suddenly swap their roles, like during TI, like let's say they have
like
a bad
Mush?
day one
Mushi?
of the groups. Yeah, Mushi and mid one, was it?
No, it was not mid one. It was
KYXY.
No, it was the really young kid.
Oh, I know who you mean. Ketchik,
Bucket?
right?
No,
Ketchik, yeah. Yeah, because they were like the mid and the carry, and then Ketchik wasn't delivering, so Mushi's like, I'm playing mid in our elimination game, and Ketchik went, I think, safe lane carry or even support.
Support. I think like a lion that game. Mushi's like, I'll take the Shadow Fiend mid, and they just got crushed.
Yeah, because Mushi was playing actually support back in those days for a little bit, but poor young kid got some nerves while Mushi just decided he was going to be the boss, as Mushi can do, and that's it. I think my favorite example of that happening is still TI2 eHome in their elimination match. They had the famous MMY Storm Spirit make an appearance. MMY was in Dota 1, one of like the top tier mid players. He had a few kind of iconic heroes, his Lion, his Storm. But in Dota 2 it was always a support, and for that eHome team it was a support, but come elimination match, they had their mid player, PCT, who was kind of a young, newer mid player. Perfect Cat. He hadn't had a great tournament up until then. eHome had been winning just through this IO Tiny combo, and elimination match, they kind of make the call, we're going to put MMY back on mid. He hadn't been playing mid for like 2 years. Bust out of Storm Spirit. Needless to say, they did not win that match.
What happened to MMY, man? That was, LGD, proud, my Wisp homeboy.
Well,
DK, the TI5 DK team.
As they say in China, they usually call the retirement, the Chinese retirement, switching the power treads. They just kind of have it on the off treads until it's time to come back for TI. This time, MMY did not actually end up coming back to play this year, so
still some money.
He's been a pretty enigmatic player. Like, obviously an incredible talent, one of the older generation OG talents, if you will, of the Chinese scene, especially in Dota 2. But he's also been described as, again, a bit temperamental. Also the kind of player who seems to thrive in tougher, more adverse situations than if he gets comfortable. So maybe in terms of organization, in terms of fit, it's a bit harder for him to find a good place.
I heard he likes to party, so maybe that's why.
I like his nickname. It was like, what, the Little Duck or something? What was his?
Momo, yeah.
Okay. He had a good nickname, but here we are. IG versus LGD, MMY's former team. Baboka and Victoria skirting around. It looked like they didn't actually scout each other.
No, they didn't seem.
Well, Victoria scouted the Earth Spirit, but he managed to get into Fog in time.
He's going to take himself all the way to the mid lane. He's got to be feeling okay because Lina is the mid laner, and she doesn't have a lot of those glorious escape mechanisms like others. So if you connect with a good roll, which he unfortunately doesn't, you could still get some good softening up in there. But no roll connection. Oh, bottom lane. Heavy harassment onto Burning. You're off lane solo Zeus. I don't imagine this was going to be an easy lane. But he'll try his best to be able to make it work and just sap down maybe some you know, KSs or sorry, some CSs with the Arc Lightning.
But he's okay with that. He got a pretty good block. They got the range creep out in front, and then that little bit of harassment did take off the aggro for a little bit, so ensures Burning is going to get access to a second wave of XP here and be able to pick up some last hits as well. So just can't ask for much more as an offlane Zeus. It's not going to be a bad, horrible start for him, at least coming out of the gate.
Yeah, all this, even though he's getting low, this is kind of intentionally just not wiring to get away from the Poison Touch. The Terrorblade doesn't really pose kill potential on you, so he'll manage all right. At least the first wave gets his level 2. Definitely feels like the focus is going to be on this mid lane, though. The constant roll potential from Baboka. If they hit a good one, it could be the death of Maybe if he's not careful.
Or I'm just going to walk in,
Nice.
smack her with the pole. Hell yeah. Oh, goes for the face first roll. It, you know, makes it a lot easier to connect with. There's the Siphon, there's the Crypt Swarm, and job well done.
Cool.
Oh, and at the same moment, they're also going to get the kill on Burning in the bottom lane. I guess he overextended a little bit, and it was going to be Yao who's able to finish him off, and only with the Poison Touch, too.
Yeah, not too sure what happened there from Burning going in. I believe he was trying to de-sentry. He had the Lightning Bolt, so he wanted to tango it for that extra regen, but it was actually placed right in the middle of the big camp there.
Oh, yes, very deep.
That's a cool sentry spot to de-ward that camp, because it doesn't actually block the camp. I saw it, I'm like, oh, they blocked their own camp to de-sentry,
Oh,
but
you're right.
it's out of the box.
Ice Frog, please. There's a spot in the box that's not in the box. I don't know if that makes any sense. Burning comes back into the lane, and he is dead again. Oh,
See what
goodness.
you said there. I see what you did there with outside the box.
I think. I don't know what I did there. I have trouble finding the box, is what I hear. Oh,
Oh.
top lane, 11. Also going to get poked out a bit by Q, but it looks like he's going to be fine there. This is just, look at this. Mid lane now, Burrow strikes on the DP. It looks like Victoria is going to help make this a 2v2 lane now.
Top lane, meanwhile, Bat's gone in, but I think he's just maybe fed away his life by going in.
I think so, too. He's flying up and over and away from trouble, but can he soar away from the haters? The fatal bonds?
No more linked units.
Looks like they'll be fine.
Close. He went in because he had 4-5 secs and XXS, but he just Dark Packs that off pretty easily. Perhaps hoping he had the Essence Shift at level 2, so he had Pounce Essence Shift. He could have got the kill, but it's lucky fallen for that one. This is such a tough lane. This is why I said Earth Spirit might just go bottom, because Zeus as a solo offlaner I think is quite weak. He really needs a +1. Yao is level 2 Poison Touch, just dominating this support versus offlane matchup.
You got even level 2 on the Poison Touch, 201. That's when you know you're being pretty good as a zoning support Dazzle. Baboka's rotated over now.
Burning's
Meanwhile,
trying to
mid lane,
bang.
they also are making a move on for the Death Prophet. There's Burrow, and there's an LSA. But OP still has more than half of his life, it seems, so he's going to be fine. And Burning has dipped away from the lane for now.
Yeah. It's not your typical offlaners. They're tanky, hard to bring down, like your Legions, your Nyxes, your Tides, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Or they're kind of elusive like a Bat Rider. Zeus is got no escape, and he's not tanky.
Nope, but he rides a cloud, so there's
Hey,
that.
looks cool.
Looks kind of neat. He's got a
Style
beard,
points.
and he can CS from a decent distance. But once you get to this point in the laning phase, and you're like trying to just block the lane even better, yeah, it's just tough. And you hope that eventually the other team just like forgets about you, or forced into rotations into some of the other lanes, and you get that little bit of space to work with.
In my mind, this is how you don't want to run the offlane Zeus. Left alone against a support that can zone him out, and he's likely dead again at bottom. Burning can be close with a Poison Touch.
Oh my goodness. Ame running in on him. Ha! I metamorph for this. Oh, meanwhile, OP is able to get the finish onto Maybe in the mid lane with help from Baboka at that same moment.
Yep.
Trades from both sides.
TV did have to commit another meta, but he may actually get some damage on the tower, if possible. But stuff like every time Burning dies and TP's back in, the lane's a little bit safer because, I mean, it's not really safe from the Dazzle, but meta being used means it's going to be safe once that's on cooldown, but it still just feels like a near impossible lane.
He's level 3 and the other two are level 4. Meanwhile, mid lane, it looks like Baboka has been snagged up. DD rune popped there from Maybe. Will help him get that finish. And what we got going on here top? Q's trying to deal with 11, who's just kind of working with the nearby neutral camp a bit. So.
You compare what Bat's gone to Zeus, and it's night and day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 21-1 for our Bat Rider friend. Zeus at 11 CS, but he's at 3 kills, obviously, so it's a hard time.
Yeah. TB is that much more farm than Slack because of those extra kills. Well, Dazzle too. I mean, Dazzle's got
He's got all
1,200
the
net worth. Yeah.
he got all the kills there. So.
And that's nice. I mean, that's all your ward money. You're gonna see what Warlock. Okay, he does have boots, but that's all he's got. Whereas Dazzle's got the boots, magic stick, another 300 gold.
Aha, gotcha. Roll in from Vaboka with the Boulder Smash mid-roll. He gets the haste rune, and now he'll slowly walk and bat down maybe. Victoria shows up now. Could have lined up the two-man burrow, but had to sidestep due to the pathing there. Ooh, maybe just a few tickles of the ghost could get the finish, but no, it's not going to be there. He's going to heal up, and he should be fine. They do end up getting the kill on Victoria, so not all is lost for IG on this power move in the mid lane.
This mid's been going a little bit surprisingly. Like, these two teams definitely get a lot of opportunities to practice and know each other well, and so they should be prepared for the Death Prophet mid. But it's looked a little bit surprising, like with the Death Prophet and Earth Spirit, pretty much each time they hit something, it'll grab a kill on the less than well equipped to escape Lina, and then the rotations have been better, more fruitful it seems from IG so far. So this mid lane is a little bit surprising for me that that LGD are kind of struggling this much out of the gate.
Perhaps a result of some of those like Lina nerfs. We'll see a return gate this time with the bat.
Yeah,
4-man rotation.
Yeah, they set up a smoke for this. LGD just committed a lot of resources to make sure that kill was successful.
They recognize Death Prophet is winning this mid lane, so they're going to even it up with that kill. And it's definitely tougher to play this mid lane, I think, nowadays with the Lina. The early levels with the Dragon Slave damage reduction is quite a big deal, and Earth Spirit's just a better full position than Sand King for those like first 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, certainly against Alina. Makes it a lot better. Oh, bottom lane. Burning could be in trouble again. Victoria's rotated over, hits him with the burrow, and now the Metamorphosis comes out from Amy, and, well, they will get Burning again. The Caustic will help get in the finish, and now Vaboka rolls into town, gets a good Boulder Smash onto Victoria. The spread of the Fatal Bonds is also there. It will be a 1-for-1 trade, but still a better one for LGD, taking down that off-lane Zeus yet again.
8-man rune coming up top. Will they spawn? It won't spawn, and no kills will ensue.
It's an invis for Vaboka, who will snag it up bottom.
Dangerous.
So, yep, opportunity possibly to get something here in the mid lane. He crosses paths with Victoria. They eyeball him a bit, but I don't know if they like that. They want this guy right here, Mr. Somnus, a.k.a. Maybe.
Yep. See, Death Prophet can't easily rotate over without it being incredibly obvious, but
yeah.
is likely going to wait for someone to come back to this mid lane. If it's not Lina, they'll take a Sand King kill, but Lina is on the way with the Sand King.
Okay, Vaboka's got just a little bit of time left on this Invis rune. Kick her forward.
That's
Kick her forward
the
into
play,
Death
right?
Prophet. That's the play right now. Boom! Kicks her forward. Does get the grip right after. Oh, he misses the roll, though. That is an awkward play, but they still get the kill nonetheless.
So that's a 9 out of 10 for execution. You know, you missed that roll, but that's because he jukes it by running back into the Death Prophet.
Yeah.
So it's like, you want to juke my roll? Well, be my guest. You're walking into the exorcism.
Get to start that whole gang off with a kick in the ass to Lina right there. And this will secure them the +1. Objective gaming going well for IG. The mid lane clearly being the best thing for IG in this early phase.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. He's the only real objective taker, so the Death Prophet is a hero that we've seen on and off the past year. I remember the way Liquid played this last year. It was interesting. Like, they never relied too much on the Death Prophet for sieging or frontline, just because like she is still susceptible to being bursted down. She's more of like a secondary pusher or secondary frontliner, and like to expose her a little bit less, or to have her be able to stand by someone with ghosts and take down objectives. In this case, it feels like she's really like the only reliable, consistent frontliner that they have. So that could be something to watch out for later on, because they do have a lot of burst and like some good single target to deal with her as well. So that's something to... I'm not sure if that'll work out for them this game, because the Stark usually wants to cut in, doesn't really want to stand there and tank abilities, too many abilities.
Well, LG are going to have some good things coming their way soon, it looks like. Batrider, very close, actually now has the Blink Dagger complete. So maybe a smoke setup and a nice debut.
Yep. Dangerous item to have on the map at this point. Not easy to kill the Slark, but I think Batrider, like, heading towards that Death Prophet mid is the ideal way to do it, because you gank towards your damage output rather than tell Lina like, hey, smoke up with me. It's just have Lina continue to farm the mid lane, and you go to her, find a kill.
Yeah. Lasso into Laguna, that should be a hero deleted.
Yeah. Well, for now, he's just going to head top. He shows his blink. He's not really too worried about the surprise factor, it seems.
We'll see if he regrets that. They just fly through the lane and will just kind of fend off the bit of pressure, but we'll see if he eventually finds himself to a different lane for maybe some sort of Blink Lasso play. In the meantime, Maybe and Yao will both add some pressure onto the Tier 1 in that mid lane, while back and below we have Victoria getting a little bit of solo time to farm up on his support Sand King. No threat in the lane yet, so he's probably very curious where the hell IG are. He actually commits a scan into the nearby woods. It doesn't get a read.
Yeah, burning level 6, so he can offer the ulti somewhere on the map now. Has managed to get okay farm, the arcane boots level 6, but this is the issue. 0-4, like he can have an impact now, but he has kind of given that extra boost in farm.
Here it is now. 11 smoked up with his team in the mid lane. They are looking for someone to kidnap and blast with the Laguna, but look at this. IG also smoke, and they head their way down the river here. Will they cross paths?
That smoke scouted, though, because there is a Radiant High Ground ward.
I don't
sure
know.
if it's sold.
They're walking past him. 11. Oh, there's the smoke. He gets silenced, though, right away. Quick reaction there, but Boca's able to get off the grip. Burning's able to commit the ulti. The Rock will be coming out, and they'll get the first kill of this fight. And it looks like LGD might decide to back off. They did commit the Metamorphosis, but it looks like Amy is going to be taking it to farm elsewhere. Meanwhile, Laguna committed, blasted, and gets the finish onto Baboka. Victoria getting chased down from OP with the Siphon. That'll be a double kill now for your Death Prophet. IG getting the better of this fight right now, hoping to turn it into a Tier 1 push, but Maybe's now stepped in, and he is looking to get some free money. Takes down the Golem, and the rest of IG take their leave.
Yeah, IG threw every single ultimate when they ran into that first hero Batrider, which I think kind of is a bit costly in the end. Probably should hold like at least like a Zeus ult or Nexusism. They commit 3 big ultis in the Exorcism, the Warlock Rock, and the Zeus. Even though they hit the initial silence. Like, they should be able to get that first kill on Batrider with 1 ulti at max.
A couple of notable weaknesses for the IG lineup as well. Like, in terms of being able to take objectives, there's really not much there except for the Death Prophet ult, as I mentioned. Like, it kind of like commits her to that, obviously, with the cooldown, with the team needing to protect her. So it's kind of harder for them to, if they get split apart, if they can't really group to take these towers. And then finally, in terms of like pick off and catch, like the Earth Spirit is useful for that early on and can still do a little bit of it later, but they don't have the best initiation or catch. If you start a fight with Slark jumping into someone or Earth Spirit rolling in, they're usually going to be very swift and painful retaliation. Not the best kind of traditional initiation for them at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the initiation is going to be a major issue for them. And compare that to like a Bat and Sand King. LGD have 2 very reliable initiations versus the unreliable initiation of an Earth Spirit.
Well, maybe not so reliable if the Zeus is able to get in a say with the ult. Meanwhile, bottom lane, he's getting in on some action here with Baboka. They're able to get the jump onto that Sand King taken out, but meanwhile, mid lane, yep, simultaneous ganks. OP, though, with the Spirit Siphon. He tries to turn, but he's all stickied up, and that means 11 looks to go in for the finish and will get it done. He secures the 3 times kill streak as well. Some extra gold.
Should not have turned. He should have just kept running. That napalm turn rate was brutal.
She's like, oh, 1 second while I look back. Too long.
That's a nice little kill. And LGD just punishing the cooldowns. You've got this really long cooldown. Exorcism, Warlock Rock. They have to play around the long cooldown and Metamorphosis, but they have Lina, Batrider. These are heroes that are always ready to kind of fight, and they just find a quick kill.
And Baboka plays a really good Earth Spirit, for sure. I just gotta say.
Yeah, he's
very good with the stones.
Impressive.
I like how he gets max efficiency out of his roll-ins and sets up stuns mid-roll. Oh, and I also had a question. Ame? Is it Ame or Amy? I said both already this game. Do you know they're Ame? Okay, so we have Ame. In the last game, we had Amy/HYF. We have Anna. Let's get more original, okay? Ama, Annie, Anna.
Those Chinese people and their single-syllable names.
LGD, WDDC, ZYF.
Single-syllable names. We just listed like 3 different multi-syllable names.
Oh,
Jack.
sorry, single-syllable words. There's
Yeah.
still multiple syllables in that. 2 or 3 syllables. 2 or 3 words in a name.
Syllable's the wrong word, you know. I don't think that's the word you're looking for.
They're just like initials.
Jack, I'm going to have to call you out on that one there. That's some NA grammar.
Some NA China grammar or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
know.
NA education.
I've been in NA for too long. I've been back here for 2 weeks. I'm losing it.
Yeah.
IG on the move with the smoke. They head their way down south, but there is no one from LGD's side here. So maybe get some wardage down in the meantime, it looks like. Yep. And now your one, tower hitter, OP, commits in with that exorcism and says, let's get some work onto this tier 2. While that happens, LGD is pushing in for their own just tier 1 tower. They've been behind quite a bit on doing some structure damage. This is only going to be their 2nd tower of the game.
Yeah, IG have, for the most part, when they've used the exorcism, either always had it, they're using it like kind of off cooldown for a fight, a kill, or an objective. I think that's definitely, one of the best things they've done this game is, I feel like this is maybe the 5th or 6th exorcism we've used. A lot of teams would be much more conservative and say, oh, we'll hold on to it in case there's a team fight. IG's saying, let's just go find a way to use it. Even if it's, we want the team fight, but if we get 1 or 2 kills, at least we're using it actively. They're using it actively to take an objective there, but it's still coming at a cost, and they're not using it in like the best way, because they're going to lose 2 towers top now, and with exorcism ending, fighting is very difficult for this top lane.
Yep. Oh, and Ame is going to commit in for the Metamorphosis. So while you flex your Exorcism in the bottom lane, Ame flexes out his Metamorph. IG could find themselves caught in a bit of a rough spot. Burning is going to be the one lasso pulled back. He's able to get off the ultimate, but will fall shortly after. They managed to get the silence and finish onto the Terrorblade here. Turnaround Laguna can't quite finish off the Death Prophet. The Yules is going to be there, and Opie turns around with a Siphon and lives on. They are going to get the finish onto Maybe. He's only dead for just a few seconds with the help of that Bloodstone, but they're only moving on forward. They're going to get a hold of Yao as well. He actually tries to go for the Grave TP, but they have the stun and the cancel, and this fight will mostly belong to IG.
Oh, Pete, what a player. Bates, oh, I mean, he tanks all those spells. Maybe makes a small mistake not right-clicking him after throwing all his spells, and then he's like, oh wait, he didn't die. He turns to right-click him, but by that point he's no longer stunned, and he dodges the right-click with the Yule Scepter. So some good individual plays coming out from Death Prophet, and IG managed to win the fight, not to mention a clutch silence onto the TB to stop Asunder.
I'm not sure how much of a factor it had. They led him with a grab onto Burning and tried to burst him down, but he was still able to get that ultimate off, so that could have factored in some of the mobility, maybe a Blink Dagger or a way of moving around. I'm not too sure, but, Burning able to get off all that softening damage made things easier for IG to kind of move in.
Yep, definitely annoying, and Zeus just throwing a few spells before he dies, and also the fact he's getting lassoed. You'd much rather use that on a Slark or a Death Prophet or someone.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Slark, he is very big at this point. 2,000 net worth ahead of Terrorblade, Shadowblade, Echo Saber, about to hit level 15 as well. Gets a lot of extra stats off of that talent, and is going to continue to hunt for kills.
Yes, he is. And here's 11, and he moves right in. It's the Pounce. Burning participates. Baboka as well moves in, and that will help secure it. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Burning himself maybe in a bit of trouble. Victoria moves in, gets the connection, but look who's already showed up to play. Baboka's rotated to the Shrine, and they're able to get a good turnaround. Victoria will be the one dropped, and even Dazzle's going to get canceled out. There's the Yules, and now he is also going to be killed. At 9-14, the kills continue to flow in for IG now.
I like this. They're just playing aggressive, fighting Dota. I mean, LGD's like, oh, you can use Nexus and bottom, we're just going to push. They're playing like the methodical Chinese Dota style, like, oh, your ulti's down, we're going to push it tier 1, take it tier 2, fight around our cooldowns. IG's like, we don't have Exorcism, we don't care. We're still going to fight you, we're going to run at you, make the most of this team fight, and they still able to do just fine at top lane just with the Warlock Rock. So, all in all, just good, confident play coming out from the IG side.
And what do you think it is, Jack? Why is LGD just not ready for that? Is it like Parker says, where it's just they think they have their chess game in mind, and IG are just kind of relentless with their behavior, saying we don't care about cooldowns, we're going to keep fighting at LGD, and it's throwing them off?
Well, sometimes if you play against a team that's kind of dependent on these rhythmic ults being up, whether it's a Bat Rider, whether it's Lina, whether it's potentially whether you want to commit Metamorphosis or not, one way to deal with that is to get under it by playing a heroes or a lineup that doesn't require ults and can get more done in between ult timing. So AA ult's got a short cooldown. Death Prophet is a naturally pretty good bruiser and skirmisher, especially on an hero. They're able to throw these ganks.
They have spotted Ame, and they even find the roll-in connection. They will quickly take him out of the fight. The follow-up takedown of Dazzle will also be there. Victoria tries to hide within the trees, will be able to find a TP out. Maybe, though, a juicier target just behind. Also going to be finished. They even commit the rock onto that one, and then they'll just take this party and segue it right into the pit and party out with Roche.
That's a pretty huge fight. That really ruins Maybe's game. He's now done twice in a row with his Bloodstone, not getting any charge before doing so, so he's down at 5. And another big team fight, and Aegis on Slack at this point in the game just allows him to play hyper-aggressive. He's not going to be afraid of anything whatsoever. He even went for that strength talent, so he's super survivable as well. Good luck playing Dota into this IG squad, given their current state of items and net worth.
Now, what can LGD do at this point? Let's see here. I'm just scavenging through their potential. Poor Victoria's Sand King has, every time I click on him, he's been hoping to get a hold of this Blink Dagger, but every fight seems to be one of the first caught out.
It's also very low level, level 7. Every Dire hero is like level 11 plus.
Yeah.
You don't win fights, you don't get experience.
Tough time, so the initiation potential, even though hero-wise seems very potent for LGD, they haven't been able to kind of get the levels and the ways to itemize to match up where the game currently is in its state. And even people like Burning are kind of finding themselves back into a bit of relevance here. Looks like he is nearly done with the Eul Scepter after already having his Veil done.
That's the thing, even though his offlane Zeus had a rough time, he's going to be still an effective counter for TB because the rest of his team has done really well and they managed to team fight well. Burning has caught up just by getting tower gold, by being involved in some of these team fights, and 5 deaths, 2, 5, and 9, not like a fantastic score, definitely fed a bit in the bottom lane, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. His hero is still going to function as a TB counter.
Yeah, Zeus is one of those heroes, like, again, he's not hard to kill. If you rotate on him, he will die. You can shut him down. But also at the same time, it feels like to stop him from progressing to the point where he has his full complement of spells or is doing Zeus things for a long period of time, it's pretty hard to shut him down to that extent, it feels like. Sooner or later, he gets up a couple of levels, his nukes are still going to be good against meaty heroes and just in general for like thinning your team down and chunking them down. Like, it's still going to be good for that reason. It doesn't feel like shutting down the Zeus really has like too much long-term impact for the most part.
Oh, it's Burning who dishes out the ulti to help the bit of vision here as it's IG on the prowl. They have gotten a hold of Maybe, and Maybe is going to be forced to deny himself. And that is pretty much all of the charges being taken away from your Lina.
Yep. And the Zeus ulti is like the least important. It's the Warlock and the Death Prophet who are the big ones to take a team fight or to push objectives. So more than happy to throw that down just to scout with and set them up for a mid lane push now.
And I don't think LGD are just ready for this at all. Ame's still trying to finish out his BKB, but IG are just getting ready to bring the pain already.
There's that Sand King Blink you mentioned he's still fishing for as well. He's just about to get in the bottom lane, but he's got to clear this creep wave, head back to base, pick it up, get some mana, and by that point you've lost tier 2 mid and probably the tier 2 top as well.
Jumping in with a level 1 epicenter. Feel like child's play at this point for IG almost. But here we go, they're committing in. The Exorcism is being dished out by OP as they begin to scratch at the tier 2. LGD are just like, yeah, well, we'll be in here in case you come to our base. Because they are not going to be defending this tower. Sending in a simple Terrorblade illusion, but they are in no fighting condition. Simple Siege by OP. What's next on the agenda here for IG?
Top tier 2, Roshan. Sorry, Roche, what am I talking about? They've got the Aegis still. Top tier 2. Vision, play the Vision game, get a gem, starve out your opponents, wait for next Exorcism to go high ground. Not sure if they'll be able to go high ground with Aegis. Exorcism will be back up around when the Aegis expires.
Feeling a little
LGD, this is a confident play. They are actually trying to fight into the lack of Death Prophet and Ultimate.
Oh, so they're going to shift all the way through the bottom, maybe?
Expecting a TP down there to defend, and that's what Burning's done, but
it's like I tanked plenty of ganks from you young kids.
Exactly.
I'll take more.
He dies here. It's
bring it.
Not a big deal.
Jump Burning. Burning's not even the real core anymore.
Come on, Burning. Throw an ulti. Oh yeah, he knew.
Ask you shall receive. And
that's
now
a good Zeus player.
The jig is up. And it's going to be XSS finding, of all people, Ame first. Moves in. Ame may be forced to dish out his BKB already. Get some help from Yao with the Grave. While on the other side, it's going to be maybe dishing out the Laguna. Looking to get the finish on the Burning, able to get it done. Meanwhile, Ame, able to get off the Sunder, goes into man mode and will be able to get the first life of XXS. But now he's returned to play here. They find the Dazzle. They'll gobble him up. Now Ame looking to go in. Victoria moving in. Got the Epi, but it's not going to be enough firepower to be able to get the finish onto that Slark. Now they move in, thinking about a move onto Ame. The Yules is there, but he's able to slide up towards that shrine. They're still preserving it on the other front. Maybe will end up going down. He's going to be out of this one for about 30 seconds.
His
And
TP
IG
count
move
5.
in.
He's been hit 19 times. He's lost 19 agility, strength, and intel. That's like... The good news is you kill the Slark, so he doesn't have that plus 19 because he doesn't get it when he respawns from Aegis, but he's also, yeah, he loses like attack speed, health. He's out of that fight. And a great result. I mean, it was definitely that point where there's been 5 heroes missing from the map for quite a long time, so after a certain point of 5 heroes missing, you're like, I think there's smoke, we should ulti. And he does it at the perfect time to scout out everything going on.
Do you think Burning asks about doing the ult, or do you think Burning's like, I'm just ulting, like he just knows, like I'm just gonna ult and do it, or do you think he asks the captain or shot caller if it should be the best decision to do?
He probably made the call, or if not, I feel like a captain or shot call would like tell him. It's not normally something you'd be like, hey, should I ulti? It's more like a
Lord,
he would decide.
Lord Burning, sir?
Emperor, sir?
Emperor, sir, do you think that maybe they could be going for a smoke gig and that you should hit the R button?
I've delivered the heads on the platter for you, Emperor.
I mean,
I
Q is a
suppose.
TI runner-up, you know. He'll tell Burning what's up, you know. Q is a master tactician as far as what I've seen out of the CDC days and some of the recent IG days.
Yeah, praise for his drafting skills. Some I think even foreign teams were kind of cracking on him a little bit. They're like, oh, Q's going to draft Jakiro or Disruptor or Warlock. That's the 3 go-to heroes. That has kind of been the case in a sense, but you know, how big of a 5-hero pool do most teams need? Actually, that's been a criticism kind of Yao as well. It's like, what heroes is he going to play? He's got the Keeper and you know, a few others, and that's pretty much it.
The tough thing about 5 is your pick is always normally in the first 2 because you want to reveal as little as possible. So if you're going to have to first 2 pick a 5 position, typically you're going to just keep sticking with what works or what your 5 wants to play.
Nothing super fancy, right? You've got to get that reliable pick.
Whereas cores are often picked up as the 3rd, 4th, 5th pick, so they're more often counter picks or a pick that fits the draft, or you have to do with more bans. You don't normally see bans on 5 position heroes. So I think it was like the old patches where before CM got nerfed, every single like top team's 5 position was like a CM spammer. The exception being VP.
There's like 6 in meta 5 position heroes, and like 3 of them are defensive and 3 of them are not, and that's about it.
Burning doesn't have his ulti. He probably wishes. He's like, man, there's all these heroes miss. He's going to ulti as soon as it's up, I feel. Ulti in 3, 2, 1. Burning, throw it. Throw the ulti. Throw the ulti.
Emperor Burning, maybe you should ult? LGD seem to be missing.
There we go.
There they are. Thank you, Burning.
Zeus stops the bat blink now.
Tone of voice.
They're trying to get a hold of 11 here, scooting his way through the trees. He is really pesty there. Baboka actually managed to fly all the way over. Has he spotted out Yao? Yes, but he has no stun available to cancel it, and the LGD gank is totally thwarted by the masterful skills of Burning.
Oh,
the gem hiding within the
Yeah.
trees nearby, not spotted.
Oh, they're pinging it now.
Ah, well.
Green's, yeah, he's pinging it. He's, ooh,
Oh.
Courier.
Little
That
bunny.
was a close race.
Bet that courier one more. Oh, he wants it. Can't get it. Get it, Baboka. They want it.
He's got blink in 3. He's not going for it.
Oh, well. But they get the tier 2. They fend off the gank.
Lost that creep wave top. Good play from the Lina, but they're waiting Roshan anyways.
Yeah. That will be all outer towers now. So all the money that could possibly be grabbed, with the exception of the shrines. Both of them still standing here. Looks like it. So still have that option there for IG. But they are just feeling pretty world class at this point. I continue to look over to LGD and what their options, may be here. I haven't seen any new developments on the Ame since he's picked up his BKB. And obviously for Maybe, who's been put in the grave a couple of times here, it's hasn't been too much after that Bloodstone.
It's a bit of a tough way to play this lineup for LGD because beyond like the early game, they don't really have too much tempo on their heroes, and then you kind of have to deathball. But deathballing into a Warlock and a Zeus, and just doesn't feel good for the most part. So it's kind of a tough way for them to play.
Nice quick swift jump onto the Batrider, comes out from XXS.
He's a constant threat. It's kind of nice to have this Zeus because Zeus can scout for the Slack and also cancel the blinks. Like even if you see the Slack coming, if you Zeus ulti, you may not be able to blink away from him.
Yep.
Straightforward Roche grab for IG. Meaning the ulti from Death Prophet. You're going to kill Roche so slow without it, you may as well. Even though you can't push immediately with Aegis, it's just better to be more efficient.
They get it. They walk on out, and it is going to be XXS who picks it up. What's the Nightwish mean in his name, Jack? XXS.Nightwish.
I am not sure. I have not asked about that. I need to get
He's
on
a
it.
fan of the band. Nightwish is a band, right?
Is that a band?
I think they're like an instrumental band.
Oh, it sounds like an emo band, to be honest.
Or they may be like a metal band.
Nightwish.
They're a symphonic metal band from Finland.
That definitely sounds
Yeah,
like
these guys look pretty...
angst.
This one guy in the middle's got this weird little top hat and a great mustache. But
Really? That cannot be what he's into.
He looks like the
We're
he looks like a little
Nightwish.
bit like the V for Vendetta, the Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah,
a
these
little
guys
bit,
look
right?
like neckbeard, kind of. I'm sorry. If you're a Nightwish fan,
Well, everybody goes through that phase, Dakota. XXS is really young, all right? You gotta give him a break. I think he's only 17 or 18, so he's well went through that phase, right? Dakota?
they're just Finnish. Finnish people are kind of special. In
I will
their
not
own way.
lie. I actually used to appreciate a Finnish rock band known by him, aka His Immortal Majesty, was also a emo-ish Finnish band. So I can relate. I can relate to XXS. We both are the same.
Enemy Lena has Bloodstone. And by Bloodstone, I think he means 2 Bloodstone charges.
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right, here comes IG. Creep it into the high ground now. They got the Aegis, so they're feeling pretty good about this. Mr. Nightwish scratching away at that tier 3. What is the answer going to be from LGD? They have the lasso, and there it is. A grab, pull back onto Burning. Get him. Got him.
End of that push for now. They don't have exorcism, so they weren't really... I don't think their heart was really in that push. But ultimately, Burning needs to position such that he doesn't get caught by lasso moving forward. This game is tricky for LGD, to say the least now.
They get the tower down to
Yeah.
half of its life. That's unhealable damage, of course.
Yeah, with the meta committed, that kind of opens a window if you're IG as well for some more aggression. They feel a little bit. They feel like they'll be able to move around the map much more freely. Just the heroes, whether tanky or have their own escape, or it just feels a little bit less risky for them to be moving around. They've certainly leveraged that pretty well so far this game.
XXS on the prowl once again. Can't quite find anything though, it looks like. Oh, 11's close. Maybe if Burning was quick on the ult there, could have had a jump before the Blat Rider was able to blink away, but I'll let that one slide and wait outdoors here. What is Baboka thinking? Oh, he got a Force Staff. I will have to say that I don't think we're going to be seeing many more Agnums or Spirits. Doesn't feel like an efficient build anymore with that level 25 talent, but oh, we got other matters on hand. Looks like OP is committed in the Exorcism, and IG begin their siege to finish out this tier 3 and possibly go in further for the racks. We wait to see what LGD's defense is going to be, but you have Q waiting in those back lines with the rock ready to drop. This is going to be a tough approach.
Yeah, Lena's creep skip, so they've trying to get the backdoor protection back, but unsuccessful.
That's the racks down.
Okay, it's back now. They're not going to get range racks, but they got what they came for.
Do LGD even bother trying to chase anything out? No.
It's tough. This Octarine means Exorcism's going to come back a little bit faster so they can go for the second lane of racks. Perhaps still with an Aegis. They've got 65.
Arcane.
Yeah. That's a great room for Death Prophet.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. Level 20 Death Prophet becomes mega fast as well.
Plus 50 movement speed. I actually didn't know it was that much. That is quite fast for the old dead lady.
There's some heroes that get these like sweet level 20 talents that you're just like, holy cow, that's a talent, and then there's like Slark, 10% cooldown reduction.
You look over at Bat Rider, he's like, oh, I have move speed. It's plus 35.
Yeah.
What about the epicenter attack slow from Sam?
Wow.
I've seen Senkings. I mean, that's level 15, but
I have. I've seen some of them get it.
they started to get it more and more often.
Yeah,
That's a lot of attack slow.
Oh, they got maybe, it looks like. He
It
was
is, but it's
side-pushing.
so specifically situational. I mean, how often are people turning to man fight you during an epicenter?
It goes from what, 30 attack slow to 80? That's a huge amount of attack slow. But here we go. Another high ground. Exorcism back up. Aegis probably going to
With
expire.
an arcane rune.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, my goodness.
70-second cooldown on ulti.
We'll do this again in a minute. All right, well, they will grab a hold of that Death Prophet, pull her back in. The rock, though, will be dropped as a counterplay. Ame's looking to run on back out. He still has that Sunder, but he's actually gained a lot of life. So the trade is not too significant there as he hits up that Sunder onto OP. They'll get the finish onto the tier 3, and IG step off from the base to reposition a bit.
Yeah. Respawner, and that kind of pushes them back. Very safe play.
Exorcism per tier 3 per building. We're going to be here for a while, guys.
I think the philosophy here, it's like, well, every time we use it, we're at least getting something, and if we don't die, we're going to win the game eventually, but I do feel like they could have gotten a melee Rax there, but they got a little bit scared because they lost the Aegis expired.
This is that chess game where like, okay, got that pawn. See you in 5 minutes.
8 and 35.
All right, well, we got to rest now, so we'll see you later. I don't know.
The later is not going to be that much later with this
that's
exorcism cooldown
but
now.
what do LGD do between these small intermissions where it's like, okay, well, we survived that. Now what?
Can't do anything because they don't have Metamorph. And they don't even have Lasso. Lasso got a pretty sizable nerf in the recent patch with the level 1 and level 2 Lasso cooldown. I think it used to be 80, 70, 60, and it's now 100, 80, 60. So it takes a lot longer to get that Lasso back up. Lasso feels more like a regular ultimate as far as cooldown goes until you get it level 3.
All right, well, here's IG coming to knock on the southern door once again. The tier 3 is already down, and there's yet another exorcism already coming out. Yao did start things off with that early weave, but I don't know how much it's going to be helping out. Early stun onto OP seems to barely tickle. But Boca rolling into action will force back to the low ground too.
Can't do anything about meta. That's the damage they need to kill Death Prophet, and they... There we go, another exorcism, another building Dakota. This one feels less like a pawn now.
They're even kicking her out. Oh, that actually helped dodge the Burrow Strike. That's pretty cool.
Yep, give them the Lincolns too. Everything to protect OP.
We got our one building, guys. We gotta go.
Yeah, this is dangerous because meta is coming back up, so now LGD...
Go.
Yeah, exactly. Charge at them. Find something, anything.
Oh, they caught him. Nice. During mid-roll. It's a Laguna. Just put all the hate onto him right there.
Yeah, but if that Earth Spirit's a pawn, that melee Rax is like at least a bishop or something at this point.
That's for sure. That is for sure. 22 to 12. This one's still in firm control by IG. Totally dictating all the defensive plays from LGD. LGD there scrapped their way out for one little pity kill, but now they come together to say, let's get a tier 1 in the bottom lane. So steep hill to climb, but they're going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
We're at about 30K, though, of a net worth advantage for IG.
They want to just keep going for maybe even multiple towers if possible. They're not going to use Metamorphosis for the tier 1. They may even want to, I don't know, forcing high ground sounds kind of insane, but at some point, they need to fight on their own terms, or maybe like pretend to back off and then try re-engage. They need to do something to catch IG by surprise, because they're not finding any key pickoffs.
Here we go. 11 takes to the skies here. Oh, I like that Lotus though, so
They scout out the bat.
And that means he's not going to be blinking into action. Oh, now I spoke too soon. Gets a nice jump in, nice pull back, and nice finish onto Baboka once again, but the rock comes out. Now they are going to be able to get the save onto Maybe as he tries to scoot out and away, but the IG pain train is just running on down, and it's hit the station, boys. 2 are dropped already. XXS looking for more, but LGD have already just hit the high road out.
Just fantastic Death Prophet play. The positioning, he runs forward with the Lotus Orb knowing that he can't get lassoed and pulled in. If he gets lassoed, he's going to at least stay still, and then once the Lotus Orb wears off, he backs off. They scout the Bat Rider. Yeah, he still blinks in with a lasso, but the Earth Spirit was all he could reach. The Death Prophet had already retreated at that point.
Nightwish. XXS here, running at Yao. Forces him to use the Grave. Now looks for 11. He alone. Oh, look at 11, though. What are you going to do about it?
Can he hit the pounce? No.
Got him.
It's so hard to get like pounce over the tower to get to land that one.
11, the Tempo King, as they called him, his nickname or his own ID in Chinese pubs.
The Tempo King. Is he like a dancer?
No, he's an offlaner, so he's gotta control the pace
Tempo
smash.
King.
Yeah, he's got.
Okay. All right, fine.
Well, there is not much tempo to be controlled here for LGD. At this point, they are playing the waiting game. I don't think they can really dictate tempo anymore.
Yeah, the tempos lose slower, really. But we'll see.
Another Arcane Rune, Death Prophet. And you're at that stage, you're 40 minutes in. The double runes is really nice for certain heroes. Death Prophet finding Arcane Runes is amazing. And having these late game bottles is something. Every time I see teams not having a bottle at like 40 plus minutes, like at least with backpacks it's so easy to do. I think they're just not quite used to playing the late game as much, but definitely IG showing some familiarity with it.
IG smoke move, and look at this, some beautiful setup right onto the mid lane. No chance at all. This might be a gentleman. They've already taken out Maybe. They've already taken out Yao. Maybe does have a buyback, and will have to use it, it looks like. IG have already gotten themselves inside the base and scooted themselves up to the top tier 3. There's the buyback now coming out from Maybe. And what could be the final hurrah from LGD? Notoriously known for their high ground defense, but can they defend this one out? They get a good stun, and all the firepower they can ask for from Ame to try to rip into the Death Prophet, but she's able to get the Yules off. She's able to hold on to survive and begin to suck the life away from Maybe. And that is going to be a dieback there. Maybe says it is all over in Russian. And 11 degrees. It's done for. This one belongs to IG.
Fitting that Lina ends the game with 0 bloodstone charges.
Yoish. That one was actually pretty convincing by the time we made it out from the laning phase.
And that's, I don't think, I mean, it's not so much that he had like a really bad individual performance, but the team didn't play around him as much as maybe the other ways do. Speaking of Maybe, his Lina ends the game 3-12-5. And I think that is kind of a byproduct of picking Terrorblade, a hero that needs a lot of protection, a lot of attention. The Dazzle did obviously his job perfectly, zoning out the Zeus, getting kills, securing the lane. Ame got farmed, but elsewhere on the map, this Lina didn't get much help. Got rolled on constantly, got killed by the Death Prophet over and over again. And I think you look at what the top tier 1 teams are doing. It's this emphasis on winning the mid lane. You look at how EG play around Sumail. You look at how like in the qualifiers, like the way like DC would try lane around Abed, Secret would do with mid 1. Winning the mid lane is way more important than securing your safe lane in the current patch.
Yeah, and we mentioned coming into this tournament how like Lina didn't seem to be as popular of a pick in China. Asked around a little bit about that. Like one coach told me that maybe in terms of consistency, in terms of the farm that this hero needs, in terms of being susceptible to ganks and rotations, like you see a lot of in NA or other regions, it starts off as a 2-on-2, but in China especially, there's almost always a ward being placed there, like with the first smoke out and the TP and rotations coming out there to kill the mid. And you saw Lina was really vulnerable to that this game. And then with Lina getting behind, she does farm pretty well. She does have the ability to catch up, but if the Lina is behind, she can't as confidently go out to make space or be a presence on the map, and then she's kind of sitting back and then waiting for the other team basically to make moves, and it feels bad kind of playing from behind in that position. So might explain why Lina hasn't been as popular of a pick in the Chinese scene.
So EG have lost, by the way, guys.
Oh.
But according to Wikipedia, there is no tiebreaks, and EG are in the lower bracket. So I don't know if there's head-to-head. I'm going to quickly get my phone out, see if I can check what's going on.
Whoa!
They
what
lost
happened?
to
EG
go to
were
the-
winning that
They lost
game.
to the bog.
They lost to the bog.
to the bog.
They lost the bog to go to their favored lower bracket.
Yeah, they got to get.
Well, let's take a look here. So
What'd you do?
the tiebreaker rules: if 3 or more teams is head-to-head.
If LGD lose, we have a 3-way tie. LGD lost.
Which we
But
did
that means there's a 3-way tie, but that doesn't matter. So EG lose. So there's a 4-way tie in record. So there's 4 teams with a 4-3 record. But I guess EG lost to all 3 of them. They lost to Newbie.
We could see at the table. EG lost to LGD. They lost to LFI, and they lost to Newbie. Yes, they lost to all the other teams that
They're
were
tied with.
Yes.
So they lose on head-to-head to those 3 other teams, and meanwhile those 3 teams apparently remain tied. But I don't think that matters because OG, who won the group, get to choose their opponent. So I guess maybe they'll just choose between everyone. I hope. Let's see if we can find out.
Well,
just kidding. There is tiebreakers.
Well, let's take a look here. So
How we-
LGD beat LFY, and they lost to Newbie.
Yep.
Obviously, LFY. I'm about to confuse myself, I feel like, but I think we can make it through. So LFY beat Newbie.
But lost to LGD.
We're not hitting into tiebreakers now. If there were tiebreakers, right? There's still another series, right?
So
No, that was the last series. Group stage is over.
The group
Oh,
stage is
really?
done. Everybody's played 7 matches because they're 8 teams.
Ah.
They have round robin.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, based on what I see here, it's they keep going along with head to head.
You could maybe pull it up
results.
on Wikipedia, Dakota. If we could maybe show the viewers as well, or you guys at home can head over to the wonderful
Let
site
me
that
just
is
close my
Wikipedia.
porn here real quick.
Yeah, close some of those tabs. I don't know.
Okay. We got it here now if you guys want to look at it in case you have... If you're just a one-monitor peasant and can't Alt-Tab,
So-
this is what we're looking at.
Hey, I've never
Shout-outs
had more than one
to
monitor.
TeamLiquid.net for, you know, all the information and updating it. What was that, Jack? Huh?
I've never had more than one monitor.
I've never had more than one.
I'm just old school like that.
So this is rough for EG, lower bracket. The thing I find, I personally dislike these rules because basically EG lose the head-to-head because they beat OG. They beat the team that won the group, but it's almost like it's better if they lost to OG and won against a weaker team. Like, they don't get any credit for being the best team in the entire group. So as a result, EG's in the lower bracket, and I find that kind of shitty that a win over the best team in the group doesn't carry more weight than a loss versus a team who ends lower in the rankings. But
That's true, but conversely, if you had like a lower ranked team that also beat OG, then you know would that weight them a little bit higher as well? It's
I
kinda
mean,
goes
I think
both
for
ways.
it's like obviously the weighting only matters in the case of a tie. So for me, it's
Right.
like I know, like I mean, it's often used as a condition to break ties after head-to-head. Like head-to-head comes first, and then after that, you look at like
Quality of win, yeah.
quality of your wins, which is what EG obviously the quality of EG's wins. They've got one really good, and then obviously 3 of their wins are the bottom 3 teams. So the quality there is not as good, but for the 3 teams in the head-to-head tie, they've got wins against each other and wins against EG. So I kind of get that, but they also some of them lost to OG, some maybe 1 or 2 beat OG. I think OG lost to someone there.
OG lost to EG, LGD.
Yeah, LGD. So I think for LGD, it's like they should definitely be in the top. But I think if you look at LFY and Newbie, have they really earned a spot over EG? And I would kind of say no, they should at least be someone on even
So there is a
terms.
tiebreaker here.
But yeah.
LGD, FY,
Yeah.
Newbie.
I'm not really sure. Like the purpose of these ties is to, I guess, decide the playoff bracket, since it decides second, third, and
Well,
fourth.
OG's yeah. So this is to decide who OG can choose
Who
between.
OG can choose to play
Yeah,
against.
because they can only choose between third and fourth. So I guess they're trying to decide who is second, because that means second can't be chosen by OG. But I feel like an easy solution would just let OG choose from all 3. But whatever, you know, it's cool. We get more Dota. We get to watch the Bulk in action, Jack. This is what we wanted.
I like
Get
this.
some more LFY.
Tiebreakers versus BTS crew. Tiebreakers in a landslide. More Dota.
I mean,
More Dota.
this is what we asked for. It's 5 in the morning. We don't want any of these early finishes. That's weak shit. We need.
They changed the password too.
And with our trusty
it's a
monster
one-
energy to power us
It's a
through
1
these
instead of a 2 at the
wee
end.
morning hours, I think
I did that.
Will be
I think they changed it again.
Oh, okay.
Or did you get in? Why am I sitting on my cord?
I'm not sure.
Maybe we should go to a break.
We're good.
Let's go to a break. Guys, when we come back, we have apparently, is it just one more match, or is there a chance that
There's 3. It's a 3-way tie. So there's 3 more matches.
There's 3 best of ones for second place? Oh my god. All right, well, we're going to break.
That's why I say it's kind of pointless.
Oh my god. All right, so catch you guys later. All right, we'll be back later.